No.
Damn it, why not?
Sorry, I don't know.
Yeah. What I'd like to ask, I'm here in front of a bunch of geeks next to John Carpenter, and I'm not even sure what to ask him. I have like 8,000 questions pouring into my head. What I'd like, when I talk to filmmakers, I always like to ask, what do you think is your most underappreciated film? One that you wish got a little bit, because a lot of your films get real love, and then there's a get kind of lost in the shuffle. I'm wondering which one or two of your films you wish had a little bit more fan support.
Well, that's really hard to say. A whole bunch of my movies have been sort of underappreciated, going way back. But over the years, they seem to come around and people discover them. So I don't know. They're all underappreciated as far as I'm concerned.
Like, clap your hands if you love Big Trouble in Little China. Clap your hands if you love Prince of Darkness. Mouth of Madness? Right, that's what I'm saying. It's not all Halloween. That's beautiful. All right, let's just go right to the fans here because they'll ask better questions than I would.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hello, your greatness.
How you doing, man?
All right, I got a quick question for you. I'm a big Halloween fan, and my question for you is you've probably been asked this a lot, but and it might be a stupid question, but did it make sense to you that the third installment did not follow the other first two? Because I personally thought it sucked.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Actually, I thought there was no more story we could tell for Halloween. That shows you how fucking wrong I am. So I wanted to do different stories every year. So Halloween 3 was the first attempt at that. And I don't share your opinion of it. I think it's a whole lot better than you think it is.
As the guy who's written about these films, I'm constantly telling people on Twitter, it wasn't that it went to somebody else and they just blew it. It was the producers saying, let's try something different, and the audience didn't really show up. But if you ask a general horror geek, they're 25 to way older, Season of the Witch is a good fucking movie. People are just disappointed because Michael Myers is not in it. Yeah, it is. It got some great imagery, some creepy, weird, dark shit. Watch it again, brother. I think you might like it.
No, he doesn't like it. Look at him.
Hi, big fan as everyone. A little nervous. Just a little bit, just back insight. One of my favorite movies actually is Ghost of Mars. It's a great movie. I know it's underappreciated, same thing.
Thank you.
But it was an amazing movie. Did a lot of sci-fi that you didn't do in other ones. Where did your really concept in your come to do that movie?
For Ghost of Mars? Well, I met with the Weinsteins. They're producers in Hollywood. Notorious bad guys. But they wanted me to do Assault in Precinct 13 in space. I didn't know what the fuck that meant. So I noodled around and came up with this idea of Mars, the Ghost of Mars. And they read it and they said, we don't like this. So we went over to Screen Gems and we made it. That's where it came from. You got it.
I was wondering if any of the films in your body of work, if you'd ever revisit them, be it a reboot or a new sequelization.
Well, see, I don't control whether or not they make sequels. Let me explain how that works. The companies who release the movies generally own the rights to them. If I've written it, then I have a say. But if I haven't, like the movie The Thing, I don't have any say. So there are two kinds of sequels. One is good for me, and one is bad. The bad sequel is when they just go ahead and make it and they don't even talk to me. The good sequel is when I sit on my couch and extend my hand and a check arrives. And I do nothing. All my life, I've wanted to receive money for doing nothing.
Amen.
I'm extremely good at that. So no, I don't know.
Would you, do you have a strong opinion on any of the remakes that you particularly liked?
I actually thought the remake of Assault on Precinct 13 was pretty good.
I agree.
I enjoyed that.
I agree. And I thought the Thing remake had promise, and then my problem with the Thing was you're remaking the Casablanca of special effects, and you cover it with digital. You're defeating the whole purpose, right?
They tried with practical effects, and they couldn't make it work. So they had to go to digital.
They could do it in 1981, but they couldn't do it in 2010. That's amazing to me. Young man, sir.
What is your greatest fear?
What's your greatest fear?
My greatest fear, I'm afraid of everything. Everything.
I got it.
No, we're all afraid of the same things. You and I are both afraid of this stuff. Anything that you fear, I fear it. That's why horror is such a powerful medium. Because the entire world shares fear. You got it.
Good question.
All right, so your film Escape from LA is the only sequel you've ever made. Was there any other sequel you ever wanted to make?
Well, I didn't really necessarily want to make that one. I've learned in Hollywood you never say never about anything. And if somebody comes to me with a lot of money and says, would you like to do this? I'll consider it. If you have some money, I'll consider it.
Yeah, give me your wallet.
Okay. Only got $5.
You can do They Live, maybe. Oh. Sir?
John, at the end of The Thing, Kurt Russell and Childs are sitting, and they are sharing a drink, and they start having a conversation about whether Childs is the Thing at the end. Was Childs actually taken over by the Thing at the end of it?
Well, I know the answer to that, but I can't tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. Ambiguity is a good thing.
Audiences hate ambiguity.
They don't like
They
it.
hate it. Believe me, they hate it.
But that does lead to a really good question. I'm sure there were moments in post-production where you and producers and writers are all sitting there going, is this question mark the ending we really want? And you went, yeah, that's the ending we really want. And nobody said, we need a period, not a question mark.
Well, the studio made me test a different ending. They made me cut off the dialogue between Kurt Russell and Keith David. So the movie ends when Kurt blows up the camp. That's it. And it didn't test any higher. So we went with my depressing, grim, fucked ending.
It's The Mist, which is The Mist has a shock gut punch ending, and people still talk about that ending. If it was a basic ending, they'd go, that's a pretty good movie. But when they talk about The Thing, eventually they get to the final scene and everyone says, what do you think, Childs? What do you think, McGreedy? And that's what makes it, partially what makes it a fucking classic.
Yeah.
Young man?
So you've made so many classic horror movie creatures, villains like Michael Myers, The Thing. What was your favorite creature and sort of villain to work on throughout your movie career?
The most fun I had making a creature was The Thing. I really love working on that.
Did you ever walk into Rob Bottin's workshop and just go, this is 10 times better than I thought it would be? Like you're a fucking amazing artist, or you just knew it?
Every day. Every day.
That must have been a thrill.
You guys actually kind of stole my question. I was going to ask for you elaborate a little bit more on working with Rob Bottin and how he lost his mind doing all the effects for The Thing. And just if you
Did he lose his mind?
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard.
Rob
That's why I asked.
was very young, and he came up with the basic idea that The Thing could look like anything. It doesn't have to look like one thing. It could look like every creature it's ever imitated in the universe. Let's say it's been doing it for a long time. I thought that was a great idea. I'd never seen that before. So that's what he did, and he got a little in over his head. The work piled up, the deadlines were missed. We somehow got through it. Over in his facility, this was in the 80s, there was a lot of how can I put this? Mood-altering substances being taken there. And that's what got them through it, though. But Rob altered his mood a little bit too much, and we had to take him to the hospital once. But he recovered, and we finished it.
The only other thing I was wondering is if you've seen anything for Harbinger Down, and what your thoughts on that is. ADI is coming out with
Alec Gillis, Alec Gillis company.
practical effects inspired movie, if you've seen anything about
I
it.
don't know what you're talking about. I
Okay.
didn't see it.
Well, thank you very much.
The question is, the gentleman who did the makeup for the Thing remake, and they also did Alien, Predator, Alec Gillis, and can't forget his partner's name. Tom Woodruff Jr. Thank you. They made they did a fundraiser, and they got their whole budget for a practical horror film monster movie called Harbinger Down, and that's finished now. So that was. It looks like it's. To say it looks inspired by the Thing would be an understatement. Sorry.
How you doing, John? I had a question. The moderator stole my thunder a little, so.
Well, he talks a lot, doesn't he? On and on and on.
I know you've been asked every question out of panels. You've done so many of them. I was just curious, were you ever curious on why some of the movies, when they came out, weren't well received, like The Thing and The Fog, and even Halloween, but over the years, it's got such a cult following that now they're considered horror icon movies, and you ever stop and just wonder why that is?
Well, yeah, every fucking day I wonder why. You know, when I make a movie, I think this is going to be great. And it comes out, and The Thing was the biggest weird thing because the fans hated it. The fans thought I had raped the Madonna. They thought I had defiled the original movie.
Yeah. Plus,
Hatred.
E.T. came out on the same day.
No, that didn't help
Yeah.
me. But look, everything's good. Everything's good. I have enough money to watch basketball and smoke cigarettes, put my feet up. I'm fine.
I loved it when it came out. Good film.
Nice to meet you.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm really nervous. Sorry. So one of my, I feel like I have to pretend. One of my biggest memories as a little girl was actually watching films with my dad. Not to get emotional. So, but watching your films inspired me to get into filmmaking. So I know it's probably a repetitive question, but what inspired you to make your films?
Well, I fell in love with movies when I was little too. And I saw a movie in 1956 on the big screen that after I saw it, I said to myself, I want to be a movie director. And that movie was Forbidden Planet. So that was it.
Hi, I'm a huge fan of They Live, and I was just wondering, why did you have that long-ass fight scene in there? What was the function? I mean, I didn't mind it. It was an amazing, amazing film, but why did you have that?
Why did we have the fight scene?
Yeah.
Well, frankly, it just seemed like the right thing to do. We had, the star of the movie was a professional wrestler who makes his living fighting for a living. And he knew how to stage fights. So I thought it would be great to do the longest fight we could do. Does that answer your question? Okay.
Don't be shy, step right up.
I'm not sure I don't. Big fan of The Fog. I'm curious, in the beginning of The Fog, when the guy's telling the story on the beach to the kids, did that ghost story come from anywhere, or is that just straight up your ass?
And actually, there was a little bit of California history involved in that.
Okay.
In Goleta, which is right above Santa Barbara. They put the bonfires out and made the ships wreck so they could steal the gold.
Right.
It really happened. So I just stole that California history.
Thanks, man.
You got it.
Hey John, a huge Halloween fan. Unlike many, I did not like the 2007 remake, Rob Zombie's remake. And so I just had a question. There was a rumor that Rob Zombie had called you before he decided to make the film. And I was just wondering if there was any truth to that and what were the contents of that conversation.
He did, he called me up. We've been friends since the 90s. He called me up and said they want me to do it. And I said, do it, man, make it your own. Make it your own movie, don't worry about mine. And it was great.
Thank you.
Hi, my question is about the, a little closer. My question is about some of your earlier films and sort of the themes and things like The Fog and Prince of Darkness. The way those films tend to work out is they tend to progress really slowly and sort of this kind of slow burn to the end. Do you see that being something that a lot of people tend to avoid in a lot of films nowadays? Because a lot of times I don't really see a difference in a lot of modern horror, that they seem to be a very, I don't know, the same thing. Kid gets possessed again, kid gets possessed a second time, third time. So, I mean, Last Exorcism Part 2, I didn't see it, but anyway, the fact that you have a last and a second one. Anyway, that's my point. What do you think about the idea of those things? Do audiences want that now?
Well, it's true. The timing has changed in all movies, especially horror films. So everything has to be quicker nowadays because you'll lose the audience, because the audience is used to things moving very fast. So I agree, there are a whole lot of possession movies around now.
But do you think audiences would go back to liking the ones that are slow and sort of build
I don't
up?
think we'll go back to that. Maybe we will.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The studios probably won't. But.
Well, they want to appeal to the widest audience.
Cool. So, all right, thank you.
You got it.
Hi, thank you for coming to Philadelphia. I grew up locally in Haddonfield, New Jersey. Urban legend in the town is that you wanted to set the movie in Haddonfield, New Jersey. They wouldn't let you. You had to go to Illinois. Is there any truth to any of that?
No, that's all bullshit.
So's the town. Thank you.
Unlike a lot of people, I love the movie Escape from LA, and I just want to know who came up with the amazing ending to that movie.
Kurt Russell and I.
Okay.
What's up, John?
Hey, man.
Well, when I was way too young, I remember watching a movie called Body Bags.
Yeah.
And I seem to remember you having a little acting in that movie. My question was, how did that movie come about, and what was it like getting into acting?
Okay, that was a pilot for Showtime when they gave us money to make it. We had 3 stories. And I was the host. I played a dead guy. And Rick Baker did this makeup on me, which looked a little bit like the Phantom of the Opera. And frankly, the minute the makeup was on, I had no problem. I used the makeup to perform. And I was way over the top and awful, just awful. But I enjoyed myself. So I hid behind the makeup, I did the part, and I went home. All right.
Awesome, thanks.
You got it.
Hey, John, how are you doing?
Hey, what's happening?
Good. When I was 5 years old, my older brother and my older cousin sat me down and forced me to watch every frame of the original Halloween. So, I'm just here to thank you for many, many years of nightmares and therapy.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Hey, I'm a big fan. In 1995, my dad made me watch The Thing, and I had a ton of nightmares, but I got into film, and my question would be, what is your advice to any up-and-coming filmmakers or people wanting to get into it?
Well, it's a different time now than it was when I got into it. But some of the same advice applies. Learn how to tell stories cinematically, first and foremost. Learn all the technical stuff you can, and never give up. Hang in, stay with it, commit yourself, go to it.
Hello again.
Hey man, how are you?
I'm a filmmaker too. But so my question is, why horror? Because I used to make comedies all the time, and now all my shit's getting so fucked up. And I just am curious as to I guess what draws you to scaring people.
Well, I got in the movie business to make westerns, but they died. So when you're young and trying to make it in the movie business, you take any job you can. Along came this movie called Halloween. And I accepted. It was the distributor said, I want to do a movie about babysitters that are stalked by a killer. That's all we had. So we made Halloween from that. And it became a success. So horror found me. After that, everything I was offering was horror movies, which is great.
So you weren't ever before really into some sort of dark literature or something?
Well, I read everything. But I told you, I love westerns, dude. Westerns. That's right.
Well, it's never too late, right? I guess all right, thank you.
You got it, dude.
I was wondering, could you talk a little bit about The Fog, which is my personal favorite of your films, but your commentary covers a lot of there were some post-production issues, but you really can't tell from the final product, and that's rare. So can you talk a little bit about how the fog kind of went through?
Well, I made the fog, we finished it, I looked at it, it was shit. I said, we gotta fix this. We gotta make it better. It wasn't scary enough, it wasn't moody enough. So we went back and for about 3 months worked on it. We shot some new scenes, re-recorded the music, and did our best. And what you see now is the result of that.
I love it.
It was too heavy-handed in the beginning. It wasn't light enough. It wasn't misty enough like the fog. So, there you go.
I think it's a beautiful movie.
Thank you very much.
My favorite score of yours.
Thank you very
I
much.
love that score.
Thank you very much.
All right, first of all, big fan. It seems that your name is always over the marquee, where it's John Carpenter's The Thing. And as a snot-nosed little 13-year-old, you know, a number of cool movies come out, and you're like, who is this John Carpenter guy, and why is it that he gets top billing on any movie like you are in fact more important than the project? I mean, it's just like some trick that you pulled off? Is it in your contract, or you just...
Well, if you know about cinema in the old days, it was not uncommon. Okay, and a lot of directors did that. And I'm a student of cinema, so I thought, well, there's a good way to put myself out there is to have a possessory credit. Alfred Hitchcock's,
right.
Howard Hawks',
unless you're like
John
Tarantino
Ford's.
or
Well, I was a
you,
presumptuous piece of shit, so I did it.
Thank you.
Hi, how you doing?
How you doing?
Not bad. So I have a question. I mean, a lot of your movies, you know, terrifying situations, crazy creatures and stuff like that. So I want to know what the inspiration was behind the movie Starman.
The inspiration?
Yeah.
The script lands on my desk, I read it. It's a chance to do a road movie and a romantic comedy.
Yep.
And I'm not going to get a chance like that.
Yep.
So what I wanted to do was make it happen one night with an alien. And that's what I did.
Right. Hey, it's a great movie, by the way.
Why, thank you very much.
Hi, John.
Hey, man.
I really love the work you've done on your soundtracks because they add so much to your movies. And I just wanted you to talk a little about, you know, wearing the different hats of being the writer, the director, the composer for a lot of your films because it really adds to the work you've done.
Well, thank you. I started doing music because when you're making student films or low-budget films, you really don't have any money to hire composers and orchestras. So I'm cheap and I'm fast at scoring. And with a synthesizer, you can sound big and sound like many different orchestral instruments. So that's why I did it.
Thank you.
You got it. Ooh, a few more questions, then I have to go meet my drug dealer, so.
Hey John, how's it going?
Good.
It's actually the first time I actually seen your face. I've never actually seen your, I've seen movies, but I've never seen your face. That's funny.
See what?
I've never seen your face before, but I've seen your movies. That's ironic.
Well, what do you think?
A little bit.
It's a big disappointment, isn't it?
I want to ask you about when you casted Jamie Lee Curtis in your Halloween movies, big fan of those. What made you think like this has to be the girl for the role?
Well, she came and read for us. In Hollywood, what you do is actors come in and they read a scene in the script. And she read really perfectly, and it really had the character down. I thought, well, she's great. Let's cast her. That's all there was to it. Directors operate on instinct. That's what they have. That's all they have. So I used my instinct.
Thank you.
You got it.
How you doing, John?